Hello, this is Professor Marsh, and this is the lesson on tax credits. So we've looked at filing status, dependency, exemptions, income, deductions, including the standard deduction, and now we're ready to look at tax credits. And there are a number of tax credits that will be important to our work in the VITA program. So let's go ahead and get started with a discussion of tax credits, and we're going to, in this lesson, talk about several tax credits. If you'll go to the lesson plan for the Earned Income Credit, which is lesson plan number 29, and this is in the 2022 materials from the VITA program training, the Link and Learn lesson number 29, and it's on the Earned Income Credit. This is the most important credit that our clients will qualify for. It results in the largest amount, or one of the largest amounts of benefits to taxpayers. And a credit is a dollar for dollar reduction in any tax they owe. And there are refundable credits, and the Earned Income Credit is one of the refundable credits that actually will pay the overage amount of the credit to the extent that it either exceeds the amount that's due or will increase the amount of the refund by the amount of the credit and put those dollars into the taxpayer's account. And so it's a very important benefit, a very important tax benefit for intended to benefit the working poor. And the credit is also much larger for working poor who have dependent that they support. So if you would open lesson number 29 and look through it, look at the key terms on page 1. This is the lesson plan. This is what I'm supposed to be teaching you. So take a look at all of those key terms and start to become familiar with them. There's something called an ATIN, which is an Adoption Taxpayer Identification Number. There's a definition of earned income. That's income that's received for work, such as wages or business income for the self-employed. The Earned Income Credit is a credit that can be paid to low-income workers, and there is a reasonably strict limit on this, and it's similar to our, to the type of the limits on who we can help at the VITA program. So, if your income is above $60,000 as a married couple, or if your income is above, and I think it's $53,000 and change as a single person or someone filing separately, then you can't claim the Earned Income Credit. And it's, even though the rules aren't exactly the same, those higher income taxpayers are probably not suitable for our program. So anyhow, scroll through that information and make sure that you get sort of a general sense of what it is we're talking about. So we've got low income taxpayers who can get a small Earned Income Credit even without children, and if they have children, they can get a much larger Earned Income Credit, particularly if they have 2 or more children. So it maxes out at 3 children. If you have 12 children, you don't get all the money in the federal treasury, but it's a very valuable benefit that helps the working poor. As you go through it, you'll find some suggestions on material to read, both in publication 4012, also in the 4961, your guides to working with the VITA program. And then you'll also see a number of frequently asked questions, and these are links back to the current versions of the Internal Revenue Service rules on the Earned Income Tax Credit. And if you do click on that, then you'll leave the PDF file and you'll go to the internet web page, and you can take a look at some of those frequently asked questions about the Earned Income Credit. There also is an Earned Income Tax Credit homepage at the IRS website, irs.gov, and there's also a link to tables that show the income limits. There is a fixed limit on investment income. Our clients can't have more than $10,300 in investment income and still qualify for the credit. And you'll see information if you're a prior year volunteer. You'll see information about the maximum credit amounts and tax law updates and that sort of thing for the 2023 filing season for 2022 income tax returns, Form 1040s. So anyhow, there's also links to something called the EITC Assistant. And so there is a little app or mini program at the irs.gov website that you can enter the information off the return and find out if you should claim the Earned Income Credit based on the questions and answers using that little app. So that's a very valuable tool if you're stumped on whether someone is going to qualify. You can go to that and check your calculations against what the IRS says. Then also, I wanted to use the Earned Income Credit first as an introduction to all of the credits. If you go down to page 4 of 7 in the Earned Income Credit Lesson Plan, number 29, you go down to page 4. In the middle of the page, there is a link to a tax layer demo, and that is an 11-minute video that really shows you how to enter the information, not just for the Earned Income Credit, but for the Child Independent Care Credit, for the Child Tax Credit, the various education credits, the foreign tax credit, and miscellaneous credits. And it's an extremely helpful introduction to the whole issue of tax credits, and it shows you really how easy it is to use the tax layer software and to use it to calculate the credits. And quite frankly, some of the credits just calculate and populate onto the return based on your answers that you have entered from the intake form from the 13614C. And so really you don't even have to enter the information for the child tax credit, although you should probably check the return to make sure that what the software has done with the child tax credit agrees with what you know should be the correct child tax credit. So lesson 25 is the child tax credit. As after you watch the video, I would recommend that you go to the child tax credit first, because there's not a lot of information about it on the video, and do look both at look at the lesson plan and then also the slides, also the presentation slides for 2022 for the child tax credit. And if you're having any trouble with it, what you can do is you can go back to the child tax credit workout, and you can also do the workout for the Earned Income Tax Credit, which you also have access to at the Lincoln Learn Home website. So do take a look at those, keeping in mind that the workouts have not been updated for 2022. They still have 2021 tax rules, but you'll learn the current rules as you go through the lesson plan and the presentation slides and look at the linked information, which the IRS does have correctly linked in their 2022 materials. It'll take you to the part of irs.gov that'll have the table that you need that has the information that's been updated for all the inflation that we've had during the past year. So anyhow, so take a look at that at the child tax credit. Also look through the lessons and just in a general sense familiarize yourself with the child and dependent care credit, which is lesson 22. The education credits or deductions, which is lesson 23. Understand that this can be a little tricky, and the video, the tax layer video, points this out, is that when you're calculating education credits, you also need to look at whether the taxpayer is better off taking the deduction that is available for those expenses than the tax credit. So you really have to, it's a little tricky. You kind of have to calculate the taxes both ways when you're doing one of those returns. And you also, you have a choice of which credits the taxpayer might qualify for, American Opportunity or the Hope credit. So you've got to really take a look at the material for education credits. And as you look through the lesson plan for that lesson, do click on the rules, the frequently asked questions, and the summary of the eligibility requirements for those, and maybe take a look into publication 17, publication 4012, or publication 4961, and look at how education expenses, credit versus deduction, are discussed, because that's a very important topic. Then lesson number 24 is the foreign tax credit. Again, just maybe skim the material, and it's not likely that you'll have clients with a foreign tax credit, but it's certainly possible. I mean, we have part-year residents who come up and work, and particularly the agricultural businesses that are around Newberry. So do take a look at the foreign tax credit, and it's possible that you will get some questions about that in your certification exam, and also that may come up in practice. And then lesson 26 are the miscellaneous credits. Now, the one credit that I haven't talked about is the premium tax credit, and there will be a second video which I will post very shortly with respect to the premium tax credit. This is the credit that's available to subsidize the payment for health insurance on the exchange, either the marketplace or one of the state marketplaces. So please, after you do the additional homework for this lesson, please go take a look at the premium tax credit lesson. This is actually lesson number 2, and I've skipped it because I thought that it was best to talk about it with the other credits. But it's next to the earned income credit. It's probably the most important credit for our clients, and so we'll want to go through that in the next lesson. So with that, I'm going to sign off for now. Keep up with your reading and your work. Do watch that very helpful tax layer video, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.